Hello YouTube, back once again with my television reviews, and I thought it would be fun this autumn October Halloween season to review a horror television series. So I decided to tune in for the series premiere of the new Fox horror comedy series made by the creators of American Horror Story, Scream Queens, and yeah, let's get into it. First, before I go into this, let me just tell you right now, if you're a big fan of American Horror Story, take everything I'm about to say with a grain of salt, because I am not a fan of that show. I don't like it. I don't think it's scary. Yeah, that's my main issue. I just don't think it's scary. It's a horror-based television show. Just know that as I talk about this, because a lot of this may come off as a really negative. Know that. And, okay, so let's talk about the show. Let's get into the plot. Plot of the show is, stay with me on this one. It's supposed to be 20 years ago in this university sorority. A member of the sorority gave birth in a bathtub, unaware she was pregnant because she thought it was just a freshman 15. As it goes, sometimes it happens. And then some of the members who knew she was in there and was bleeding for giving birth, and they decided to wait to get her help, because at first they just wanted to finish dancing to a song they liked. And then when they got back, she had died from blood loss. And now it's 20 years later, and now there is a killer in a Red Devil outfit killing members of the sorority. Or people connected to it. And, yeah. That's the front of the show. Let's go into the issue, the good and bad of the show. Okay, this is the issue with the show. This is the number one issue plaguing with it that a lot of critics are taking issue with at the moment. This show either needs to be more... This show either needs to be more serious, like a more, like straight up, like, horror, like, slasher film that's kind of spoofs at the same time, something like You're Next, or it needs to be a more balls to the walls insane with its comedy. It needs to do something like, I don't know, like a Wet Hot American Summer First Day of Camp, just a horror version, or like Tucker and Dale versus Evil, Cat in the Woods, something like that. It needs to be more over the top, like, with its humor, because at the moment it sits in a very awkward place, and it doesn't feel, because, like, you can clearly tell the creators of this wanted to make a black comedy horror television show, but you can tell they don't understand how to do that all the time. But it was not a complete failure. Let's talk about this. There's some good parts to it. Like, well, one, I gotta say, there is a shocking amount of death in this show. I think, like, in the first episode alone, you got, like, 4 kills, like... I was expecting, like, maybe 1, like, at the very end. No, they kill people throughout the pilot episode. That was surprising. But I will say, only one of the kills is really good. Because here's all the other 3 kills. The other 3 kills, they don't go far enough. Like, this is gonna be a huge issue. It needs to go farther if it wants to be funny. For 3 of the kills, like, there's a girl who gets stabbed to death. And the whole joke is supposed to be like she stabs it when she's like the killer's in the room with her, instead of just like trying to instead of like calling the cops, she just tries to post on her Facebook, someone's about to try and kill me. That's not funny. And then when he does stab her, it just, like, you barely see anything. You barely see anything, like bloody, and, like, that's not funny. Like, what would have been funny is, like, if the joke, like, it would be, like, a fun spoof of, like, slasher films. Like, if he stabs her, like, well, what if blood starts spewing everywhere? If this is, like, Tucker and Dale versus Evil, and, like, every kill just had the people just... like, blowing up, like, with how much blood they were losing, or like a Tarantino film when people were blowing up, like, with how much blood they were using. And do not use the excuse, this is television. You can get away with so much now on television. We had Hannibal, that it would be so many unbelievable shots and things are in that show, but, So yeah, and yeah, so like it like every stab like had her like spewing blood, but for some reason like why she was being stabbed, like for some reason she just wasn't dying, and then like she could just kept like writing it out. The killer just kept confused, like had to stab her like 15 times and then like 10 times, and then like he tried to walk away, and then she just started breathing, just stab her again. That would have been a fun spoof of the horror trope. Like that would have been a joke. Like that's what this is missing. It's not really that funny when just the whole premise is she's just trying to text someone. That's not a joke. But, that's not a joke because, like, there's that. Like, there's, like, another one of the kills, like, another one of the kills that almost worked for being, like, freaking hilarious, but as it was only kind of funny. Like, there's, like, a joke, like, it's in the trailer, like, they're, like, five of the five people, like they're buried in the ground, and like only their heads are sticking up above the ground, and then the killer comes with a lawnmower, and it would have been fun, it's funny at first because the person he targets is deaf, so all the other four are screaming in terror for this girl, and the other one, and the girl is just oblivious to what's going on, is just singing a song to herself. That's funny. That is screwing with expectations. That was a funny joke. But then the joke was killed when she noticed and she started screaming, because they're like, okay, that's not very funny anymore. Like, it was funny when she was oblivious to what was going on and looked just as happy as she could be. But it would have been funny, like, say when when the guy ran over her, like the killer ran over her, if like blood just started spewing all over the other four, and like I don't know, like her decapitated head just like rolled in front of one of them. They were just like in complete terror. That would have been going all out with a trope. That would have been going all out. That would have been being very that would have been going all out with the comedy. As it is, though, it's played straight for scenes like that, and that's the thing. Like, this show wanted to work, it either had to be more serious, like You're Next, and when You're Next, when you get down to it, was pretty much a straight up slasher film, but it just made fun of some of the tropes, like that made it like really funny, like for the fact like it was like played straight, but it was the characters being reasonably idiotic. But the thing that made what the show's missing. This is what the show's missing. What something like Your Next had that made funny was the fact it had a straight person. The show does not have a straight person at the moment. Everyone seems to just have everyone seems to just and I feel bad for the actors, because if all the actors were playing it serious, like this could potentially work as a series. This could potentially work. This could potentially be consistently funny through and through. But the problem is the reason this isn't working, the show isn't working at the moment, the reason it's not getting good reviews is the fact that the actors are trying to be serious. The script, though, is just way too silly. It's way too silly. So you either had to have it just doesn't work because the actors are trying to be serious, but sometimes just the lines are so silly they just can't be serious. They can't, and a joke can be funny if someone's aware they're part of a joke, like The Visit. I gave that, I said, like, the old people that were hilarious, like, they seemed to be in on the joke. But the thing was, they played it so straight, though. They just came off that they knew this was silly. The writing and sometimes the acting can just be, like, so, it can get to the point, it just feels like, it's the actor and writer almost winking at the camera, going like, oh, aren't we being funny? And then, no, because it's not funny when you're being that goddamn obvious with your humor, and that's the issue. Like, the show was really funny anytime there was a straight person reaction to a terrible situation. Like, the best kill of the episode was, there was just such a dark moment where, like, one of the characters tries to pull a prank and pretend that, they doused a woman's head in a cooking oil from a deep fryer, and they kept it off. But then, like, the killer turned it on while they were out of the room. So when they dunked the person's head in, it does start like burning. It does start burning. Like, their face starts burning, and then everyone gives the normal reaction, which they're screaming in horror. They lift her out, and the woman looks is just screaming in pain, like her skin is falling off, and they are just staring in complete shock. Like, that is going all out. That is going full force with the joke, just to show like how awful it is. Like, it's not trying to be restrained with that scene. Like, that's what the show needs. It needs to feel less restrained. It does it like, because it's not being serious enough to be like straight up, like to be a straight up slasher, and it's just not going far off and full out enough to being like a straight up just a black comedy. So that's the main issues with this show at the moment. But I will say a few positives. A few positives. The actors are good. Emma Roberts can actually be pretty funny in a few scenes, just being like the worst human being ever. Like, I love the fact that they just they don't hold back with the character. Like, they make her like a racist, like a homophobic, like it's just the most awful person ever. Jamie Lee Curtis could be really funny in a few scenes. Just being like this like insane like dean who just like is trying to like take advantage of her position in every way. I will say this is a show that I cannot imagine guessing who the killer is until the end, because the whole issue with the kills in this show is a lot of the bodies after they're killed, they disappear, so there's a whole question of, well, who is one of the dead people a killer now? But yeah, so that's the huge issues with the show. It needs to either be more scary, or it needs to be more serious, or it needs to go more all out with the insanity. As it stands, it's too much in the middle of the line. So yeah. I'm gonna go shoot my episode 2 review now. YouTube, as always, please subscribe, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye.